Which word of the day? Today's word is Orbuculum, noun, a crystal or glass ball and common fortune-telling object. It is generally associated with the performance of clairvoyance and scrying in particular. During the Middle Ages and Renaissance, the Roma people migrated in greater numbers from India to Europe. With their tradition of fortune-telling, they were ostracized by the church, but welcomed by many who sought out their advice. While the crystal ball may not have been a traditional Roma tool for seeing the future, it was adopted as a result of increasing acceptance of the crystals by most Europeans. Crystal balls, too, are easily transported and set up by nomadic people. Over time, gypsies became strongly associated with fortune-telling and crystal balls.
You haven't even read that?
Wait, what are you doing with the book?
So he has the confidence to finish the story.
Hear now the words of the witches.
This is Kevin, and welcome to Words of the Witches, the Charmed podcast that will guide you through the lesser-known published material in the Charmed universe and decide how it fits into the grand narrative of the TV series. Here we are, episode 7 now. We're on episode 7, book 7. I have my guest this week, and this is AJ. Hello.
Hello, I'm AJ.
Awesome. Because like Jessica, my last guest, we met in New York in the Alyssa Milano meet and greet Barnes & Noble thing.
Yes, we did, Peckman. Yes,
yeah,
we did.
And you gave me the nickname Peckman, which I am very fond of now.
Thank you. I go by Boob Lady. But
Boob Lady. Peckman and Boob Lady. This is like our superhero comic book waiting to happen.
I can just imagine where it's being published right now.
We just need to get the artist, and it would be amazing. How did you discover your Charmed? Like, what was your relationship with the show?
That's like an interesting one. To be honest, I actually hardly remember. I think when it first aired, or at least when it was like airing an episode of season 1, I think I was a kid, and I think I saw like a clip of it, and I'm like, okay, never mind. Like, I was with my family, so we just moved on and watched Sabrina the Teenage Witch. And years later, I don't know how exactly, after school, middle school, I decided to put the TV on as usual, and I just came upon an episode. I don't remember exactly which one, and I was like, okay, this is my jam. I get it. And the first episode of that year that I saw that was the newest one was, of course, season 7's finale.
Oh my gosh.
I literally caught up in just 2 or 3 months, and I couldn't just do it online. I had to literally buy all of these boxes. I couldn't just go watch it online like some kids today.
I think I saw a commercial on TV, and I'm like, hey, that looks interesting. And I watched it, and I was hooked from the first episode. So I was watching it week by week, year by year, the long haul.
And I still remember the day that it ended. Oh my God, that broke my heart. I remember right after it came on another episode of Charmed, and I was like, no, I don't want to. Oh, I want more.
It was sad. May 21st, 2006. I graduated high school that year, so it was a real transitional period for me.
But this show really did save my life, and it honestly, I went through a lot of rough things, a lot of dark time, and because of this show, I now, I have a dream, I have a passion, and it really did save my life in a way that I can't explain and now I hope to do the same when I get into the industry, which I'm kind of in, sort of.
Yeah. Well, warm in my heart.
And honestly, I was always jealous of the sisters because they always got to fly into walls. I'm like, I want to fly into a wall. I normally walk into walls for fun, but I never get to fly. And I was always bummed. They would say in interviews, oh, I got bruised knees and stuff. I'm like, that sounds awesome. I get a bruised knees just by kneeling. Throw me. I'm that person. And yes, I have tried to freeze people or just go boom.
I'm always like kid I still do it today. I'm the grown up at the supermarket when they automatic doors. I'm like, move! Telekinesis the doors away, open for me.
Oh my God, I gotta try to do that.
Oh my gosh, it feels so cool. It's an automatic door, but in my head, I'm like, I'm moving this door. This is me. I'm so powerful.
I just do the Piper move. oh my, I gotta try that. I gotta try that.
Well, I guess we should get started into the book then. Are you ready to dive into this book?
Man, I've already dived in and I'm swimming.
So this book is called The Gypsy Enchantment. It has probably my favorite season 2 picture. It's the same picture they used on the Voodoo Moon book, but it has a little bit more of their body showing. You can see some of their hands this time, and there's like a tiger face in the background with the green eyes, and it says "Evil has many faces." And then the back of the book says, 3-ring axe and thrice-told tales bring threefold power that never fails. Gypsy legends, gypsy lore, gypsy demons haunt no more. Prue is in a serious funk. Her latest photo assignment for 415 is an in-depth article about the Carnival Cavalcade. Ooh, that's a tongue twister. Circus acts in a tent, and a midway with games and food. Prue hates circuses, but Piper and Phoebe are up for meeting the tattooed snake charmer, clowns, and especially Ivan, the handsome gypsy animal trainer. But a dark sign seems to mark him, and Phoebe has a vision of Piper strangled by a handsome stranger. Could Ivan be a demon in disguise? A mysterious fire and a tragic death compel the charmed ones to use their gifts. Now it's the power of 3 against the magic of ancient gypsy forces. Ooh.
Okay, I gotta say, I really love the part where they say, and Phoebe has a vision of Piper strangled by a handsome stranger. I'm so glad he wasn't ugly, the guy, because that would have just been heartbreaking. Last few, oh my God, you want a hot guy to kill you.
And the author was Carla Jablonski, and it was published February 1st, 2001, with a reprint April 2nd, 2001. And the story takes place between Season 2, Episode 17, How to Make a Quilt Out of Americans, and the Season 2 finale, Be Careful What You Wish For, because Piper and Dan are broken up at this point, and Phoebe does not have levitation yet, but Prue does have astral projection now. This is the first book that Prue has astral projection, which is cool, or at least uses it. Chapter 1. Prue is in her bedroom, and she sees a shadow in front of her. And she's like, what is that hideous shadow? And she turns around and she throws her sandal at it, whatever it is. And it was actually Piper and Phoebe dressed as clowns. Phoebe was like, hey! And they talk about how Prue has a new photo job working for a 415 magazine, and she's going to work this carnival cavalcade. And her sisters are super excited, like, oh, I love circuses. And Prue's like, ugh. And Prue agrees to let them come with her, even though she's kind of unsettled by the circus. She hates clowns. She hates all that kind of stuff. And she knows it's going to be hard work. So she's mostly focused on the work at this point. And Phoebe and Piper changed out of their clown outfit, which I don't know why they're wearing them in the first place. I guess it was a ploy to get her to say yes.
I think it was just to scare the shit out of her.
Maybe.
I know she's afraid of it. But then it's ironic when you think about it. You're fighting things with like faces that are falling off, but you're afraid of some guy in makeup.
Yeah.
It's just going to squirt you with water, not going to throw a fireball at you.
Maybe there's some childhood trauma we don't know about with Prue and circuses. Maybe there's a clown with some ice cream and she thought about the ice cream truck or something. I don't know. Phoebe and Piper change out of their clothes and they head out to the circus. They get there and this guard has to approve entry to the backstage area because that's where Prue is going to work. And Prue obviously has access, but Piper and Phoebe don't. So they pretend to play her assistants to get these backstage passes type of thing. And then they meet up with Kristen McMillan, which is the reporter that Prue is assigned to work with for this interview segment or whatever they're doing. And she's like the Elle Woods of news.
I was thinking that. I just see this blonde, perky person going, oh my God! Like that didn't sound right, but still.
Yeah. Oh my God, you guys. Yeah.
We're going to have so much fun. We're going to get water in our faces and everything. We might even get a free moon pie.
Like, don't you love the circus? Oh, it's the best thing ever. But yeah, so she's like the Elle Woods of news. She's really excited. She wears a pink suit, super blonde, super peppy, that total kind of persona. And then we have Kristen. She's sitting next to a bunch of clowns, and they're all true to their act. They're all come up to the sisters, and they're like doing this shtick, and Prue is super annoyed. She's like, oh my God, I'm just going to fake a smile until it's over. It's Caboodle and Masha, where they're like a married couple, a clown married couple, and they, after their little mime act and balloons and all kinds of call it, they break the act and they finally introduce themselves in their normal voices and talk. Sacha, which is this third clown with them, he doesn't speak, but he still mimes around. And then they make a plan to take action shots of the clowns, and they interview the clowns, and then they're going to meet up with the gypsy violinist Ivan. Ooh. Sacha then breaks his silence and seems to want to sway the girls from seeing Ivan. Like, oh, silent clown finally talks. Something sparked him enough to try to say something interesting. And then the other clowns fill in that they think Ivan is cursed. And Kristen is like wonderfully excited by this. She's like, ooh, cursed, you say? Fantastic. This is going to make a wonderful story angle.
Who knew a curse could be so amazing?
Yeah, she's like, this is a hot ticket item. This is great news. And Kristen and Prue then go to interview Ivan. Then we go to chapter 3. Piper and Phoebe they're just having a ball at the circus. They feel like kids again, just enjoying the energy, the air, the smell of popcorn, that type of thing. So they're really, really having a good time. A young blonde college kid made Piper like a little balloon swan hat. Then Phoebe comes by and he makes her a little balloon giraffe hat. They each give him a tip, but then the guy comments to Phoebe that he'd rather have her phone number. I'm like, oh my God.
Kid almost had game, okay? But I would have done something a little bit more. Like, you can always make a swan or a giraffe for all those balloon people. Probably somewhat easy. But, like, you got to go extravagant if you're trying to hit on someone older than you. Well, you need to, like, wow it. You only got $1 tip. It means you got to work it, boy. Work it.
Give him a little razzle dazzle if you want to make an impression.
Sparkle.
But yeah, he kind of asked for Phoebe's number. After that, Piper grabs Phoebe and she says, "We only go out with grown-ups," and scurry away.
That seems so mature in the moment right there.
Then they go to like this little carnival game. It's typical like hammer strength games where you like have to whack the whatever and the ball hits the bell type of thing. I don't know what they're called.
I went dirty there. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of euphemisms in this book now that I think about it, because there's that thing, and then shortly after, this is when that's one carny, and then the other carny comes by. He's like, "Hey, don't be duped by his act. You want to pet my snake?"
Think about that. Oh my God. How did I not think about that? I just kept thinking of a snake that I wanted to pet. And how I had incidents with some snakes, but oh my God.
Yeah, it's so crazy, because after the little thing, this other carny comes by Phoebe. He's like, "Hey, don't follow that guy's game. Come pet my snake. This is Isabella."
That guy had tried to outgame him, and he failed so badly.
Yeah.
I get a snake now. I'm just gonna go to every guy and be like, "You want to touch my snake?"
Yep. So Phoebe does pet his snake. his lovely snake.
Well, I hope it was lovely. I really do. I'm gonna do it. It might as well be lovely.
I mean, he's really confident if he names his snake Isabella.
What?
It's the most masculine name for a snake.
For him. I hope that snake was very proud of that name.
Yeah, and the snake seemed to really like Phoebe. But then he goes to Piper. He's like, "Now your turn." Piper's like, "Nope," and she runs away, leaving Phoebe with Raphael the snake charmer. She's like, "She can take care of herself. I'm not going to near that snake." We got Jenny from season 2, one of the most annoying characters ever. She's in this book.
I gotta say, it seemed like she was like they say she was 12, but they made her like sound like she was 9. Like it wasn't. I don't know. Just like she get really like.
Right.
No, they tried to make her sound 12, but they made her sound like she was
definitely younger. She's all just like, everything was very juvenile. I mean, you at 12 you are too, but it seems like at 12 you're at least starting to like want to be more grown up. And yeah. Jenny in this book didn't seem to want to be more grown up. She was enjoying her
youth.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're only young once.
But Jenny comes out and she's like, "Piper, hey!" And this is after Piper and Dan had broken up. So Jenny was long gone by now. She should have been living in Saudi Arabia with her parents or something. But she's back.
Got to bring her back to a circus.
I guess. This is actually the only book that has Jenny and Dan in it.
Oh, really?
This is their first and last book appearance. Piper goes up to Jenny, and Dan is with her, and it kind of there's this whole little awkward scene with Dan where he doesn't really talk much, but they're still pretty civil with each other. They agree to let Jenny hang out with Piper for the day, and that she'll drop Jenny off back at the house later. And that's Dan's scene. Dan's only scene in this book, but he's in it.
Easiest thing he had to ever do in his life, even though it was probably the most painful, awkward.
Yeah. Although it's funny because as little as the scene was, I found it to be quite appropriate for them. It sounded like Dan. So yeah, then Jenny's like, I wish you and Dan never broke up. And Piper's like, never mind, it's fine. All of a sudden, this highly decorated mystical wagon pulls up. They called it a Vargo. Inside is this gypsy woman named Olga. And Jenny is all excited about it. She wants to get her fortune read. And Piper gives $5 to Olga, and they stand. It's funny. she gives $5 to Olga, and then Olga grabs the $5, and then she just stares in Piper's eyes for like a minute, and just they're both holding the $5. And Piper's like, "What is going on?"
That's gonna be uncomfortable. That's like an awkward transition. It's like, here, but wait a minute.
He's like, here's your money. What are you doing? Why are you staring at me? Why aren't you taking this?
You're not going to show for this, I'm not paying you to watch me. Just pay to entertain the child.
Yeah. So after a moment, she finally takes the money, and Olga sits down, and Jenny asks if Piper and Dan will get back together. Her tarot cards say no, and Jenny is all sad. She's like, oh, man. So then Olga looks into her crystal ball now, and she gives vague happy news about how she's going to possibly win her soccer match.
You know what? If I had a magic ball, I wouldn't give a shit about soccer.
I know.
That ball, all right?
Oh.
Around with that ball around. But check out my ball.
Check out my ball. So then they leave, and Piper goes back in to give her a tip. She's like, "Oh, Olga, she was really good. She was really, telling Jenny some nice things without giving her any real answers. So tips off for her." So she goes back to give her a tip, but then Olga grabs Piper's hand and says, "You must leave this place and never come back."
Kind of like almost not exactly, but like in the is it the first book where the Kiss of Darkness or whatever?
The second book.
The second book, like when the person comes over with the tarot cards and like, oh, shit, they just like got people to say like, no, get away.
It's very similar. It's like every time they see anybody with tarot cards, it's gonna be a bad omen on you. Just so you know, it's like you are cursed. And they did it in they did kind of the same thing in Voodoo Moon too, when they went into the voodoo shop, and they're like, "Oh, you have to leave that place. It's evil. You guys were cursed the minute you walked in." So there's always these mystical women telling them that they're cursed.
Fascinating. It's always interesting. It must feel great to be told you're cursed by every woman you see. Hey, you're cursed. What's happening?
Olga continues to say how there is a curse afoot, and something about you attracts darkness. And Piper just leaves the wagon. She's like, oh, whatever. So now Prue is taking pictures of Ivan, who is gorgeous. This is another thing we're seeing commonly in these books. There's always some gorgeous man that they're privy to.
Why were there no pictures in this book?
I know. Who would
talk about it? You got to show it.
Who would you cast as someone like Ivan, this hot, like gypsy Italian man, Romani man?
Oh, I never thought of that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go search hot guys. I'm gonna be afraid of what pops up.
Yeah, because I'm trying to think who would be a really sexy Italian guy to play him.
I almost wonder like a younger Orlando Bloom, just with like a little bit longer hair.
Oh yeah, he's got those dark. He would be good. You're right. He would be good.
Or maybe like Zac Efron, but just like make him a bit tanner and just let him grow some like curly waves.
Prue's taking pictures of Ivan, and they have like a little flirting moments. And Kristen, the reporter, the Legally Blonde chick, is calling him out on it. She's like, "Are you guys gonna stop like flirting with each other already?" And they're like, "Oh my, was that obvious? Oh, okay, sorry." And then Prue asks Ivan what he thinks of the curses, the rumors of a curse, that he's cursed. And Ivan talks of his pride in his Romani heritage, but doesn't go all for the hocus pocus. So he doesn't believe in any curses. He doesn't really believe in any magic at all, actually. which is kind of unusual for somebody who is in the Romani family thing, at least in the Charmed universe, you know. And then Ivan talks about his act, which his act is to play the old songs of his people and the animals dance, which is, I don't know, that's pretty cool.
It is. If I can make an animal dance, I'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna make some money on me. No, I'm kidding. I would just dance with them.
Yeah, and what'd you say?
I would just dance with them to be honest.
I thought you said I would have sex with him.
Oh my god, no! Oh my god! No! Oh my god, that's just messed up. Oh my god. I danced with a lot of dogs. I would never. Oh my god. Oh. I can just see someone grabbing that audio clip and just playing that over and over at me.
Yeah. No, we're good. No bestiality here today.
No. I would dance with the bear, but I ain't doing it.
I like Ivan here because you can tell he is very passionate about his music, and you know these are the songs that he played as a kid, so he has this really good nostalgia for the songs he's playing, and that's really nice. And then Ivan decides to take Prue and Kristen and show them the animals that are in his act, all the animals, and there's tigers and there's bears and there's a lion, and
oh my,
there's definitely a really nice relationship with them. You know, he goes and pets the tiger, and the tiger's licking his arms really sweetly, and he explains that that the animals and I have a real love and respect for each other, which is such a beautiful theme. I'm like, oh, you get it, Ivan. I'm falling for you right now.
I don't know if I was more jealous for Prue or the animals or Ivan because he got to pet the animals. Okay, I wanted to pet the animals. Okay, I was jealous that I wasn't Ivan. Okay, I get he's hot. Okay, it wouldn't be, I wouldn't mind being a hot man. Not well, that sounds weird because I'm not. But I want to touch an animal. I want to pet him.
Yeah, when I was a kid, actually, I wanted to be a zookeeper because I would go to the zoo and I'm just like, I want to cuddle all of these animals. I want one of every animal in my life.
Oh my God, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, now I want to cuddle an animal. Like, I don't care if I eat my arm. They can keep it. I don't need it.
Now, Olga, the fortune teller that Piper saw, she's like hiding in the bushes, and she comes out of the bushes. And she's like making like strange gestures at Ivan. And Prue's like, what is she doing? Who is that?
Creepy at all, but it does sound like something that could happen in New York. If someone did that to me, I'd be like, okay, all right, well, nice seeing you too.
Mm-hmm. Prue asks Ivan to introduce them to the Olga chick, and Ivan's like, "Oh no! If you meet her, it's not going to be through me because she's actually protecting herself from the evil eye, which is the curse that she fears is over my head. So she thinks I'm the evil eye, and she's just protecting herself from me. She's a crazy lady. Ignore her. She doesn't like me." And then Kristen is all, "Ooh, a curse? Well, tell me more."
What is it with that girl and curses? What did a curse do to her?
Well,
she cursed. That's why she peppy.
Yeah. It's just those typical like reporter people. Anytime they can have any kind of unique twist or any kind of taboo thing, it's very fascinating for the news. They know it's something that they're going to sell.
Yeah, I'm not going to sell a curse.
Yeah, but Ivan gets like shockingly angry at Chris, and he's like, "No, I will not have the world laughing at my gypsy people. Like, get out of here with you. We're not marketing anything about this curse in your show." And I'm like, ooh. Okay.
Oh, Ivan, sexy man.
I'm like, yeah, you stand for your rights. You stand up for yourself. Then Prue wants to take pictures of the animals, but without Ivan there, because she wants to see how they act alone versus how they act with Ivan. But Ivan cautions Prue that these are still wild animals. They aren't always like how they are with me. and Prue's like, I know. And Ivan believes that Prue understands, so he lets her be and lets her photograph the animals. And he just says, respect their power. I'm like, ooh, he has got some great dialogue, strong and true, and give me chills, He's
very in tune with with the world, even though he might not be like following the normal gypsy way, but he's very in tune.
Yeah. Just then, as Prue is photographing, this like skeletal, yellowish skin looking guy comes over to Prue, and Prue's like, what the hell is this guy doing here? And the guy calls her, he's like, Ruby? And Prue's like, nope, not me. And he disappears. So now Ivan's act, the show is about to start in the tent. Phoebe is in her seat, ready to watch, and she sees Prue on the ringside taking pictures, which is good. Piper and Jenny arrive, and Phoebe's like, over here! And then Ivan does his act, which I was mesmerized reading this, because his act starts, and he is just playing his violin. He is entranced with the music. He's really in the zone with his music. And he's kind of like river dancing. He's kicking things around. He kicks open the animal cages, just like in time with the beat, and like really kind of beautifully. And then the animals come out. They all do their dancing. They're all like really zen. And there's an overall sense of well-being in the whole crowd. Everyone is just mesmerized, and they feel good, and they're just moved. It's just this beautiful moment. How did you feel at the scene?
I really liked it. You know, I kind of wanted to see it, and then I just wanted to pet the animals. I don't care. You know, you put me in danger, I'll still pet anything that will probably kill me. That it's like very beautiful.
It was a really lovely scene. Have you ever been to the circus before?
I think so, probably. Yeah.
I've never been to the circus, which is kind of strange because I would always see the commercials on TV, like, hey, the circus is coming. Because my favorite animal is actually an elephant.
Oh, they're cute.
And they used to do like elephant rides and on those, those things, and which isn't really good for the elephants. But
no, it's not. Now looking back, like I understand how bad it was, and like I don't agree with mistreating animals, so I understand why it's why they stop circuses. But you know, I think the performers, the human people doing like things like seeing how many clowns can fit in a car. I'm lucky just to fit into one. So I think that's still a good show. You just leave the animals alone, let them be.
Exactly. One of these days I do want to go to like an elephant reserve in Thailand or something, one that's doing good things for the animals, because I just really I want to have a nice encounter with an elephant. I think that would like be one of my lifelong dreams. That
would be amazing.
Piper and Jenny go down to the stage, and Phoebe grabs Piper's sweater. And as she grabs Piper's sweater, she has a vision of Piper being strangled by a handsome stranger, just like the back of the book said. So Phoebe goes to regroup with Piper, but then notices her snake charmer fanboy around. And she's been trying to avoid him, like ever since that moment with his snake. She's been trying to avoid him because he's been like all over her.
I really want to know if something happened to this author where there was some creepy guy with a snake just chasing her around, or someone she knew.
There's a pretty funny scene where Phoebe tries to carefully tell Piper that she had a vision, whilst also avoiding saying too much around Jenny, because Jenny is with them. And Raphael is there with the snake charmer too. So she doesn't want Jenny or Raphael, the snake charmer, that's his name, to hear anything about her vision. But she's like, Piper, I gotta tell you something.
I thought it was great. They used tires, not awkward at all.
Yeah, I was like, we gotta go get some tires, so we'll be back later.
Yeah, it's such good prices. These tires won't last long. What could they be talking about? Totally tires, because they really put some mileage on them.
Exactly. Phoebe calls Prue over, and Prue kind of gets out of work early. She's like, it's the cliche, something's come up, there's an emergency, and we have to leave work early. So Kristen's like, okay, I'll see you bright and early tomorrow then.
Good old tires.
Yeah, good old tires.
Get out of a jam.
We need to get those tires fast. It's a life or death situation here. And Jenny is like noticing them acting all weird. So props to Jenny for being aware enough to get that, because I don't think she would have gotten that in the show.
Yeah, I don't know either. But then again, they made her like so much younger. But younger kids are a lot more perceptive than most people realize.
Very true. Now they're in the car driving home. They have to drop Jenny off, but they're talking about Ivan, and Prue's talking about how she has a little crush on him, and all the girls are like, "Ooh, talk about him." They're totally one of those girl sleepover moments in the car. And Jenny is like really, fascinated by it. But then Prue talks about how Ivan was telling her about this Romani Ruby. There's a legend about a magical jewel called the Romani Ruby. Supposedly, it gives the gypsy who has it threefold power. And the story goes that it returned to the astral plane to renew its power after its last owner died. So it's like this, kind of like the Wophidiac pendant in The Eyes Have It would amplify a gypsy's power.
This almost reminded me, like, Ivan was, I'm really bad at names, but, like, I remember she's a doctor, and she just, I could, like, see who she is, but I'm just bad at it. She didn't believe in magic either, really. She didn't really believe in the gypsy tradition.
Yeah, Ava.
Ava, yes. And, she still was doing good also, just medically wise, not like, but right. It was interesting. It almost seemed like a connection with that.
Yeah, definitely a neat parallel with that episode, which is cool. And also because the jewel is supposed to strengthen threefold, it's kind of like the same effect of the multiplicity spell, in which proves it anyway. So interesting. Dun, dun, dun. But so they drop Jenny off after that, and Phoebe explains her vision of Piper being strangled, and they decide to go to the Book of Shadows. Piper and Phoebe go to the Book of Shadows, and Prue goes downstairs to get some photos developed. And Piper and Phoebe get nothing in the Book of Shadows. They can't find anything whatsoever. So they go down to meet Prue in the basement anyway. And Prue shows them pictures that she developed of Ivan, and Phoebe looks at it and she's like, oh my gosh, this is totally the guy that was in my vision strangling Piper. And Prue doesn't believe it. She's like, Ivan? This beautiful, like, empathetic, sensitive man is going to strangle you? I don't believe it. But she also is smart enough to not rule it out, which I think is pretty mature. Like, she has feelings for Ivan, but she's also not going to completely, like, disregard her sister's,
warning.
Yeah. The next day, they go back to the circus again with Jenny, and Prue goes to Ivan's trailer. She gently uses her powers because he's not in there, so she gently uses her powers to break in and snoop. It's like no big deal. I'll just kind of look around in here.
That's the way to do it. Just sneak into a car and use a trailer without them knowing. Not creepy at all.
So she's kind of ruffling through things. She's like, nothing unusual here. This is fine. Until all of a sudden his violin magically materializes on the trunk in the trailer. Huh. Well, didn't expect that. Ivan arrives. He kind of catches Prue in the act in his trailer, and he's like, how'd you get in here? And she just says, oh, it was open. I just came in here looking for you. Smooth. He explains, he's like, my violin was stolen. I don't know what happened to it. Someone must have taken it. And then she's like, Prue's like, oh, hey, look, it's over there. Look over there.
Magic.
Yeah, magic. Ivan's like, oh, good, there you are. And he kind of coddles his violin. He bonds with it, and he plays a little bit. And Olga thinks the violin itself is the thing that's cursed, and not Ivan per se. So she thinks it's the violin, and Olga actually offered to take the violin off of him to get rid of the curse for him. Then we meet Miranda, the tightrope walker. She comes into the trailer, and she like eyes up Prue. She's like, who's this girl? She's like, I don't trust this girl. Obviously, you can tell that Miranda kind of has feelings for Ivan too. Phoebe is on the case of the Ivan guy, but she's once again found by her snake charmer admirer, Raphael, and she runs and she ends up in Clown Alley, and they told her to scram. Like, clowns only. Cool. Piper and Jenny go to see Olga again because Jenny's like obsessed with her. And she's like, hey, Olga, teach me how to do these love knots. And then she mentions the ruby, and because they talked about the ruby in the car, and Olga's like shocked to know, how do you know about that? Just stay away from Ivan. Now that Jenny hears Olga say, stay away from Ivan, she's like, oh my gosh, Prue is working with him. I should go warn Prue. And they meet up with Phoebe, and then they make a plan to meet without Jenny. Like, ditch Jenny and come find me over here.
That's the way to do it. Just ditch a 12-year-old.
Like, yeah. So Phoebe runs to avoid the snake man. He's like, maybe Ivan's bad luck curse is rubbing off on me because I can't get a girl. Phoebe's not interested in me. And then Piper leaves Jenny at the clown show, and she goes to meet Phoebe. And Piper freezes Ivan as he steps out of his trailer to go to his show, and Phoebe goes to sneak inside. But Phoebe starts touching things in the trailer. She's just attempting to get a premonition, and she's like, nothing's happening, no success, no visions are coming to me. But then she grabs this like brush, and she like whacks her hand with it on the, hits the other side of her hand with it, and all of a sudden she's like engulfed in flames, and she's like burning. I'm having Morality Bites flashbacks. What did you think of her power manifesting in this way? Did you think it was weird, or did you think it was acceptable? Or
I don't know. I didn't realize. I knew that like that seemed like a very intense premonition, and at that time her I wouldn't say her premonitions were like really like haven't grown to be that intense.
Yeah, that not that advanced yet. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think, maybe if they just lessened it, it would have been fine. But it does take you back to like when, Phoebe was being burned.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds so weird.
I'm like, oh my god, this is intense. And Piper is outside of the trailer, hiding in the bushes, waiting for Phoebe to come back. She's like, I have to be on lookout just in case something happens. I need to be here. And then she's found out by this dog starts sniffing in the bushes, and this clown named Mitzi is like, oh, who is this girl in the bushes?
Like anyone would.
And she thinks she is an Ivan groupie. She's like, oh, another girl just obsessed with Ivan. Better watch out though, Miranda might get jealous of you. She's like, oh, I guess I'm just gonna get out of here. Phoebe will be fine. And she goes to find Jenny because she only could keep Jenny occupied for so long, so she figures she has to go find her. And now Phoebe is on the floor coughing after her vision. She's like, ooh, that was some vision. And she starts to head out of the trailer door, and then all of a sudden Ivan walks in, and she's like, oh my gosh, sorry. And Ivan is confused. She's like wondering who she is. Who are you? What are you doing here? And she's like, oh, I'm Phoebe. Prue is my sister. And he's like, whatever, just get out.
Definitely, from there, it's like a different person.
Yeah, she's like, what is Prue seeing him? He's not nice at all. Okay, well, I'll just leave then. Although he still was pretty nonchalant about finding a random chick in his trailer, so I guess you should be lucky that he forgiven you for that.
Yeah, I didn't really even think about that. Yeah, he didn't really. He just as long as she got out of the way, he didn't give a damn. Like,
right.
Like, all right, get out. Just all right.
Yeah. And so now we're back at Prue, and she's being very irritated that Kristen is obsessed with the circus. Like, stop asking me these circus questions. I don't know these answers. Leave me alone. But she can't tell her that because she's her boss right now. So she's like, oh my god, just kind of bracing herself. And Prue is hoping to take some pictures of the violin so that she can analyze the symbols on it and get some answers about Ivan and maybe get a clearer understanding of what's happening with him. And then after a bit of a delay, because Ivan is a little bit late for his act, he's like, what's going on? It's taking him so long. So there's a little bit of a delay, and then a hush-hush conversation between Ivan and Miranda, and then his act begins. So he does his animal thing, and after the show, Ivan asks Prue to be his guest at a party later, and he asks her to meet at his trailer at midnight, which Prue thought was kind of late. I wish it is kind of late, I think, after a long day's work. Like, come to my party at midnight. And
especially when like carnies, like they wake up so early.
Yeah.
Well, I knew that. I don't know how, but not from the book. But in general, I know like they wake up like really early, and just because they have to set up everything.
Yeah. Right. So, Piper and Phoebe think Prue is too smitten with him because they still don't quite trust Ivan based off the premonition and based off of Phoebe's experience with the mean kind of guy. But they leave and take Jenny home while Prue stays and kills some time before the party because she's got like an hour left before she's supposed to meet him. And then while she's like chilling, the snake charmer man comes. He's kind of smelly and he's tatted up, but he sits by Prue and he's like, why can't I get Phoebe's attention? What am I doing wrong? And Prue lets him down easy because she knows he's kind of like a nice guy. He's kind of sweet, just kind of like not really attractive or a bit off in a way. Yeah, like, oh, but Prue lets him down easy. She's like, Phoebe just can't have a boyfriend who will have to leave town. You're a carny. You're not gonna be stable enough for her. He's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. He's like, I'll back off then.
That's the way to do it.
But Raphael is super sweet. He walks Prue to Ivan's trailer. He's like, I'll walk with you. And as they arrive, the entire trailer starts on fire. It's engulfed in flames. So,
reset all.
Yeah. And all of a sudden, mad chaos ensues. Like, all of the circus people come out. They're all trying to put the fire out. They're all like putting a hand in it. Their livelihoods. They can't have anything burned down. And Prue is periodically using her telekinesis to help in little ways. She's not being discovered, but she figures in the madness, it doesn't matter. And Prue then sees Ivan stomping out some embers outside of his trailer. And we learned that Miranda was inside the trailer and she was killed. Intense. Then Ivan goes in to the trailer and he clutches his violin. He brings it out and the violin is completely unharmed and not a singe, not nothing. It's like in pristine condition. And now Prue is questioning everything about him and leaves. Piper and Phoebe are now at the Book of Shadows again, looking for magic and music. They're trying to cross-reference those two things, and they stumble on a page with a skeletal man in a gypsy outfit, and they see that this fits the description of that weird guy that Prue saw, and they see that it was a gypsy zombie.
Basically, they do the person who brings them back to life. They do their bidding, and they're like dead.
Yes. So they have kind of like this decaying phase, and they're skeletal and hollowed sockets, and they're summoned to do someone's bidding. You got it. Okay. So that's a gypsy zombie.
Sounds like they're just like almost a regular zombie, really, but just a little bit smarter.
Yeah, just a zombie that can be ordered around, pretty much.
I need one of those. God, I'd get in line so quickly for anything.
Yep. The next morning, Piper wakes up, and she is a little kind of like abruptly waking up because she's wonders if Prue made it home. And she meets Phoebe in the kitchen, and they see that Prue was actually there, and she left a note. She woke up earliest as usual, and she left a note about what happened that night, and it was about the fire. And she's like, "Yep, fire, just like in my premonition." Phoebe copies the gypsy zombie spell from the book, and she leaves. They go, and she and Piper go back to the circus without Jenny. This time, they leave her home, and Piper goes to talk with Olga, and Olga warns Piper that Ivan has Prue, and he will destroy her like he did Miranda. And so she's like really laying it on, and she gives Piper instructions to where they went, where you can find Ivan and Prue. So Piper and Phoebe regroup, and they follow Olga's directions, and then the gypsy zombie attacks them from the bushes. Everyone's always hiding in bushes, but this one comes out.
Great place to hide, man. Haven't you stayed hidden in a bush to scare the shit out of someone? Okay, I may have once or twice.
You're a pro. That's what it is.
I am. And it only made one person fall.
Well, that's something at least. I'm sure you got a great laugh out of it. So the gypsy zombie pops out, and Piper tries to freeze him, and it's immune to her freezes, so that didn't work. And the zombie kept saying 3, 3, and as it got closer, it goes 3 ? And then Piper and Phoebe say the spell, and then it just collapsed in on itself. It kind of like turned to dust and fell into nothingness. And apparently they kind of deduced that it was sent for the power of 3, but was confused because there was only 2 sisters. Like, they're real smart to think about that, but okay. Because I guess his mission was to get rid of the power of 3, but he didn't see power of 3, so he just was like not successful. And then they continue down the path toward Prue, and then they encounter an aggressive tiger. Great, more surprises.
Yay.
The tiger leaps, Piper freezes it, and then another tiger comes. She freezes that. A bear, a lion, lions and tigers and bears. Oh my, this is the spot. And all of Ivan's animals are like set free, and Piper is in a freeze frenzy. She keeps freezing the animals. She freezes another one. That one that she was before unfreezes, so she's like going overtime. I'm like, oh geez, this is like power play of the day for me.
That's like a really good workout, just 1, 2, 3. Upper body, work those arms,
Yeah, it's like freeze tiger, freeze bear, freeze lion, repeat, freeze lion, freeze tiger.
All right, that's my new exercise regimen. 1, 2, freeze, 1, 2, freeze.
Exactly. So with all the animals frozen and refrozen, Piper and Phoebe start to hear Prue and Ivan making their way into the clearing, and the girls believe Ivan was taking Prue here so that he could feed her to the animals. Very Tiger King. And as they get through, Piper freezes Ivan right away, and she tells Prue to run. And Prue's like, are you kidding me? I'm not leaving from a fight. And she flings Ivan into a bush, and the 3 sisters run away together. And so now Prue is kind of thinking maybe Ivan is pretty bad if she was going to take me to like get eaten by these animals. So now they're all safely in Prue's car, and the girls sense Prue's disappointment that Ivan looks to be bad news. She's like, I really liked him. This doesn't look so good. So that's sad. And then at home in the dark room, she's developing her pictures, and Phoebe explains that according to the Book of Shadows, on magical instruments, either Ivan channels his power through the violin, or the violin itself is channeling Ivan. Which gave Prue a little bit of hope that maybe Ivan is being manipulated and he's not as bad as she thinks, which is nice.
Yeah.
And after developing the photos, they noticed that the time in his trailer, the pictures taken in the trailer, and the time on Ivan's watch during the performance are around the same time. So, and Phoebe knows for a fact that he was in the trailer around that time because he yelled at Phoebe to get out. So they're like, how is he in two places at once? Huh. Either he can astral project like Prue or he has a twin.
Of course.
Twin power!
Oh my god. Oh, girl, no.
But they compare the symbols on the violin with the book, and they learn that the violin has the power to control animals. So the instrument and power will always return to its owner unless freely given. And if the owner dies, the power moves to the next family member who touches the violin. So there's all these little rules that they learned pretty well based on the book and the symbols. They got a lot of information.
Yeah.
And then they run across a beastly animal on the next page, like this monster comprised of all these different animal parts, tusks and horns and who knows, dragon wings, and I don't know. It's just this amazing thing. It's called the Leviathan. I should look at Google pictures of that to see if there's any artwork of that. That'd be interesting.
I'm afraid to see what it looks like. I don't know why, but I just see it, give him nightmares.
He has the head of a camel, the neck of a crocodile.
I'd want to pet it, but I could just see me oddly having nightmares about it and just wanting to still pet it. I don't know. I can do that.
I mean, more power to you. Pet the animals. It's just that inner longing of love for the animal kingdom. That's a beautiful thing.
I want me some animals. What can I say? Give me a spider, I will run away.
I like spiders, but I can't do worms. Go figure.
Anything small like a spider, ant.
So now they read the thing on the Leviathan, and it guards the Romani Ruby on the astral plane. So the only way to get the gem is by distracting, killing, or otherwise defeating the Leviathan. So then they deduce that someone wants the violin in order to get the ruby, and they make note that Ivan said Olga was interested in taking the violin off his hands and begin to suspect her. They are really good at making conclusions. They're quick to the punch here.
It's the Charmers, man. You can't. They are on their game.
Yeah, which is nice to see that. I mean, this one I almost think they're too quick, but then in Kiss of Darkness, it took them way too long to figure it out. So I don't know what the happy medium is, but they're definitely on it in this book.
Things happen.
Yeah. So they suspect Olga, and they think that the fire of his trailer was an attempt on Ivan's life, because if Ivan dies, then it goes next to the next family member that touches it. So they now want to now protect Ivan from Olga and his evil twin, who has probably been disguising himself as a clown. Like, oh my gosh, they got all this. Like, oh my gosh, he has an evil twin, but how does he get by without us seeing he's a twin? You know what? Oh, he's probably a clown. Like, wow.
That was okay. That was a bit of a quick, right there. Like out
of nowhere. I would not have thought of that. Yeah. Like, yeah. Sure. We got this. We know exactly what's going down. Sure. So then the sisters dressed like clowns. I would have loved to see this. I would have loved to see this on the show. That would have been so crazy.
Too. I kind of want to still see it. Like, can we just bring them back just for this one episode clip? Just can we see you dressed as clowns? That's all we want. We don't want anything else. We just want to see you all as a clown.
Yeah, sure. They all just like clowns, and Prue's like, "Oh my god, this is horrible. This is gonna follow me for the rest of my life."
It's gonna be an animation video now.
Yeah.
Them clowns.
So they go to Clown Alley and they hide in the bushes again, because that's what people do in this book. Hide in bushes.
They really got some good bushes there.
It's like, your bush is fantastic. And they witness an Ivan on the street, and Piper and Phoebe follow him to see where he goes. Like, oh, there's Ivan. Let's go find him. And while they do that, Prue is in the bushes, and she astral projects into Ivan's temporary quarters. Since his trailer burned down, he's in a new spot, like in a equipment kind of trailer. And she astral projects in there, and she sees Ivan sleeping. She's like, oh, well, there's definitely two of them now, because he's here. And Piper and Phoebe just chased this other guy down. So now we know for sure, officially, that there's a twin. And she looks at him sleeping, and she admires his shirtless body. She's like, "Oh, he does look good." And then she covers him up with a blanket.
Not weird at all.
Not weird at all. I'm just gonna watch you sleep nakedly.
I don't feel violated at all.
Yeah. So then she astral projects back out, and Piper and Phoebe come back and say that the evil twin is now the clown Sacha. So he got in his makeup, so then now he's that Sacha clown from the beginning of the book that was warning them about Ivan. So he's the evil twin, and he was met by Mama. He called her Mama Olga. So Sacha and Olga are in cahoots, and he calls her Mama. So okay.
So Mama drama.
Mama drama. So I'm going to ask you this question: which one is the evil twin in your family?
Oh my god! I think that was like one of the first questions that I was asked when I popped out of that womb. All right.
Really? So you get that a lot.
Are you kidding? Do you know how many weird things twins get asked a lot? Oh my god, I can't.
It is very Sabrina the Teenage Witch though, this book, because they all have like twins in that one, evil twins in that show.
There's always an evil twin somewhere. Be original, please, people. Please.
Right.
We've told some people that we've given. You ever seen Sister Sister?
Uh-huh.
We would tell people that's how me and my sister met, and people would believe it. Some people think we're dating, we're married, we're mother and daughter, we're sisters, we're friends, cousins, just not related.
Sister, never knew how much I missed you. Now everybody sees how different we have come to. See, you got me on a tangent. I just love Sister is my jam. Go home, Roger. Yeah, okay.
We met them both kind of, and it was just we told them like, look, we tell people your story, the fake story, and they believe it.
Get your Twitches on in this podcast.
Oh my god. Oh my god. We're just you know what? We're people keep forgetting that twins are two people, and they always just make us as one. It's like, people,
okay,
I've got my organs and she's got hers.
So you're officially the evil one. Okay, just kidding.
Wow. Wow.
No. Moving on, I suppose. The sisters all go into Ivan's new trailer, and Prue's like, "Hey, Ivan, it's me, it's Prue." And Ivan laughs because she's the clown. He's like, "What is going on with you guys? I guess you decided to join the circus after all."
Magical clowns.
But then they explain everything they know. Like, here's all the magic stuff. I know you saw us use our powers the other day. Sorry for flinging you in that bush. And then they're like, oh, and then Ivan is disappointed too to think that his act is all the violence magic and that he's nothing special, which I can see, because you pride yourself on being famous for this one thing and think that it's all this magic that you have no control over. It can be a little disheartening. Yeah. But they kind of confide that, it's more than that, whatever. These lights and these kind of like swirlies start to appear around Ivan, and he's like breaking up a little bit, and it's a little unnerving. So Prue kind of astral projects into the flow of whatever is encircling him, and it takes them both. They're all sucked up into some energy field, and they're both transported to the astral plane together.
That was an interesting way they did that.
Cool visual.
Yeah, I kind of like really curious to how that would look, because I don't know, could she have done it not astral projecting? But then again, I don't know. Right,
because I don't think she probably would have been able to break through the barrier if she just kind of walked over there. Maybe, she had to like get her like inside, like I don't know. But she had to kind of
thinking about when Piper and Leo were put into an astral plane. So, but then I guess every astral plane is different. So every way of getting it. Okay.
Yeah, this is some like gypsy magic because they realize that they're sucked up by Olga. She brought them there. So
sucked up by Olga.
That's a different kind of visual.
That tasted yummy.
But so she astral projects and they're in the astral plane, and they see the Leviathan. I don't know how to say that. And
why? So I'll let you just say it.
Yeah, Leviathan was there, and they see it. They're on alert, kind of watching, and then Olga and Sacha the clown are there. And they're still, all four of them are there. Prue and Ivan, Sacha and Olga, they're kind of like face to face. And on the astral plane, it's kind of like this floaty space of color. I think of kind of like the Kingdom Hearts End of the World type of thing. I don't know if you ever played that game, but it's kind of like floating in the air with swirls and colors and things.
Psychedelic there.
Yeah, very psychedelic. And all communication on the astral plane is telepathic. So that's kind of cool.
You're gonna keep your thoughts to yourself then.
Right. Yeah. And then Olga's just like, what is that witch doing here? But she informs Ivan of the truth. So Ivan, meet your brother. And you guys were separated at birth because it's a gypsy custom, like a superstition, that when twins are born, that they can't live together. I don't know what that's about, but sure.
It's weird that it was specific to male, like to male twins.
So gypsy boy twins can't live together, so they had to separate them, and they decided to send one of the boys to live with Olga, which was like a distant cousin type of thing, and Sacha came to live with her, and Ivan's mother was heartbroken over that, like, oh, so sad. But Olga resented because the family then just rejected, ever since that night, they rejected their magic. And they rejected the dark arts and decided to just become performers instead. And Olga always resented them for that. So like, how dare you just throw away all of the perfecting magic that we were doing with our family? You betrayed us, type of thing. So, and she's like, and you wasted the violin on Ivan. It's like, this magic violin, you're getting rid of magic, but you're still going to give him this powerful thing. This should be mine, not yours, type of thing. So she's just kind of mad. And then Olga goes to Ivan. She demands that he play so that the Leviathan can be calmed and that they can get the ruby. And she wants to become like a formidable force amongst the families. I really don't understand her motivation quite really. She just wants to be like popular and powerful, I guess.
Yeah, she just wish one of those evil people just wants the power, wants to rule the world, want to put everyone in their place, be like, look at me now, bitch.
Yeah. Ivan refuses, but instead, like, this is such a sentimental guy. He's like, I'm not going to play for you, but here, take this violin, Sacha. I'll give it to you freely. And Prue's like, what are you doing? And Olga's like, shush, he's giving it to us. Let him. So he gives Sacha the violin. And I guess he's like, we're going to kill you later, Ivan. It's fine. And Sacha begins to play, but Prue is noticing like this dark energy in the air now. And she realizes that the violin reflects the player's soul. So instead of soothing the beast, Sacha's dark energy is actually like stirring it up and making it angry. Olga, upset that the violin isn't working, started to throw herbs and charms because she has like abilities like telekinesis and she can throw fireballs, but to do that, so she has to like use her herbs and charms, so it takes a little longer for her to actually like get it to go. Leviathan is like trying to swipe at Sacha and like get him, and she's like, no, stay away from him, he's gonna get me this ruby. And so she's kind of protecting him, but then all of a sudden the beast, I'm just gonna say the beast because I'm tired of saying the other word. He grabs Sacha and just like swallows him. He like eats him whole and bites him, and like he's like takes 2 chomps and bites him and eats him up. Yeah. And then he spits out the violin because apparently it has like some, it's powerful. So he spits out the violin, and then he grabs Olga and tosses her into the air and like catches her in his mouth and eats her.
Way to do it.
So eat these evil people, dude. Yeah. And then the beast now is like gonna attack Prue because he's like, people are here, I'm gonna eat you, I'm hungry.
Yeah, I love me some people.
But as he going to attack Prue, she kind of uses her telekinesis to bring the violin to Ivan, and Ivan begins to play this beautiful music, and the beast is soothed into a deep sleep, a nice slumber. And then the Romani Ruby floats above, and it's just beautiful and mesmerizing and glistening and sparkly. And Prue suggests that Ivan take it, and he's like, it's yours now. And Ivan declines. She's like, no, all I need in my life is my music and my animals. That's all that matters. That's my real treasure. I'm like, Oh,
It's like a really good man there. It's like, where can I find one of those? But who also wants, this one, this lady.
yeah. Sexy olive skin, great body, wonderfully sensitive, who can play music and loves animals. Like, you can't get any better than that, really.
Oh my god, add Jewish to it, and oh my god, he's won my heart.
See? So now we're on the final chapter. Awesome. We're almost there. Prue tries to figure out a way to get home, and he's like, I guess maybe I can just astral project us back. That should work. Hopefully he doesn't make us switch bodies or something. So she's like, I hope this works. But they get home safely, and Piper's like, about time. It's been getting crazy out here while you're in there. All these clown performers and the animals were going berserk. They're all like trying to attack each other. So Piper had to freeze them. And she's like, it must have been the music. Must have been like coming out of the astral plane and affecting everybody in here too. So then Ivan takes his violin. He steps out of the trailer. It's very like superhero, like slow-mo walk type of thing. I just see it like playing, and he walks out the trailer, and all of a sudden everyone's like, oh, I'm so sorry. Well, I don't know what was the matter with me. And they all kind of like get back into calm.
Way to do it.
And Prue just says, you put your heart into your music. That's the real magic, so that's really nice, so it's not just the violin. It is you. You are special. I'm like, yes, you are. And then Ivan gently kisses her cheek and leaves to get ready for his show. So sweet. And then Kristen appeared, and she's ecstatic to see the sisters in clown. She's like, oh my gosh, you guys! You guys are so cute. Yes, let's go do something. And then Phoebe teases Prue that, there is a clown spot opening since you just killed that guy in the astral plane. There's an open clown spot, Prue. You might want to take it up. And Prue's like, oh my God, not a chance. And that's the ending. So, do you have any final thoughts on the overall book?
Of course they had to go with the evil twin thing. Could have made it just a brother, cousin. I kind of liked it. Besides, the twin thing. It seemed, it was kind of like one of those cute reads.
It was
like childhood almost. Like, I want to now go to a carnival, but mostly to play games and get broke. Even though that won't be that hard to do. So, it also made me want to eat popcorn.
Yeah, it did give you like kind of like the feel of the circus for sure. Yeah, and I really enjoyed this book for the most part because of the themes that were in there. Love and respect are personal guidelines that I follow in my life, and the fact that Ivan was all about that. It was really nice. I thought the book was beautiful. I was moved by the themes of heart and respect and power and responsibility and all that stuff. And even though there was romantic elements in there, they were very minor in the grand scheme of things. They didn't take over the story. So I did appreciate that. Yeah. And I thought it was a great way to get a taste of some Romani culture and Gypsy lore that we got a little bit in the show, but it's nice to see again in another form.
I gotta say, I was kind of shocked about like how because like in studies there that has shown like when twins are separated at birth, they always have this feeling that they're missing something. So I was kind of actually fascinated that they didn't give him that kind of sense of feeling that something wasn't always there.
Very true. That would have been a different kind of dynamic,
Yeah. So it was like you would almost think like I'm not saying twins can read each other's minds or like magical. It's just something, it's a bond that even before birth, it's kind of hard to explain.
Yeah, and I can totally see that being a thing. And yeah, that would have been interesting to explore a little bit more. I would have liked that. I feel like Jenny did more in this book than she did in 4 episodes total of the whole season 2.
Well, I think the main thing that really pops out about with Jenny is when Phoebe drew the egg and the sperm.
Let me draw you a picture.
I can see it clearly, which is even more funnier. It's like, wow, could she have been in my sex ed class? Yeah,
there was that big moment in the Painted World, and then her other kind of big moment was in The Devil's Music when she was going to get eaten by the Maslin demon kind of thing. And then she did like something stupid in that Old Black Magic. That was her last episode, that Old Black Magic, where she was kind of useless in there. She's like, oh, I like this Kyle kid. but yeah, I feel like she did more in this book than she did in the whole show. And while she's still really annoying as hell, I think she had more significance. Now we're into the segment, put that in my canonical hat.
Canonical.
Could this book be considered canon, or would you like it to be?
Canon?
Like, would you consider this official lore, like part of the series?
Yeah, I think I would like to see it. Maybe because I just want to see animals and pet them.
See, you want to see the animals and you want to see the sisters as clowns. I mean, that's pretty much good enough reason.
Yeah, that kind of really is. You know, who doesn't want to see a clown making someone fly in the air? But now make them when they're really powerful. So, like, you know, really intense dimension. Look at me, I could juggle. Wait, let me freeze them in the air. Oh, I got that pin. Oh, they would make great clowns.
But yeah, I would have really liked to see this episode. I would have liked to see the animals for sure, because that's always great. And I would have loved to hear that music, hear the musical episode, and see his act. I think that would have been a really kind of cool, moving scene, and there would have been really cool ways to make that a lovely moment. So just like in the book. Now we have rhyme time.
Should we try a spell?
Why not? Let's try a spell.
In the wind, I sing this rhyme. Bring death before me, before my time.
You've really got to lay off the rhyming, Prue.
Wonderful. Witty, but wordy.
I did the rhyme. I will do the time. Good night.
We'll read a spell. There's only one spell in this book.
To vanquish a gypsy zombie. Minion of darkness, ancient gypsy tool, sent for destruction, mindless yet cruel. We break your commands, we shatter your rules.
Whoa. It's crazy because in my headphones it sounded like there's a thunderstorm behind you. I'm like, whoa, that is intense. I don't know if that was just me, but I was like, how is she doing this?
I'm
powerful. Yeah, so that was how do you feel about that? I like that spell actually.
It was cute. I kind of wanted a little bit more. I felt I was getting into it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, all right, let's kick it up a notch. Let's make it into a story.
I mean, it is a good spell. It definitely makes you feel powerful. But yeah, right you're in the middle of it. It does kind of end. So there should have been like at least 4 more lines, I think, to give it a real punch, because it's really well done. I'm gonna go over my best baddie rankings. I'm stopped making the guests go over them because I think it's kind of hard, especially when we're getting more and more in there. But I'm gonna go over my rankings of all the baddies from all the books so far quickly. So at the last spot, number 10, I have Dylan Thomas, which was from the last book. And then I have number 9, Hugh Montgomery, the Warlock. Then I have Sacha is number 8 as the brother twin clown. Then we have 7 is Charlotte Logan, the evil spirit that stabbed Baddie. Number 6, Jeremy Burns. Number 5, Lascaris. 4, I have Olga, so she's kind of making near the top there, because I think she is actually pretty powerful. If she can summon someone to the astral plane, that's pretty powerful magic, if you ask me. Yeah. And, you know, she was pretty deceptive and believable. Then we have 3, Justin Morgan, the Coven cult leader. Then I have Gabriel as number 2, the voodoo lady. And number 1 still for me is Fallcroft, time demon. So that's my list. Everybody keep track of your own ranking and turn them in after book 10. So I will go over these every episode, but just make sure you keep track of those, and we'll see who wins in the end. Okay. Now I'm going to do a 10 things segment. 10 to 10. Here's 10 things. We're going to go over our top 5 animal appearances. This is exciting. Do you want to go first?
Okay, and this is from the show.
From the show.
Okay. This is not in order.
Okay.
You can't put a number on how cute an animal is. Okay?
Okay.
So I got Kit, because, come on, that's just the obvious one. It's like, I'm not a cat person, but I'd still want to pet this cat and, like, kick some demon ass with her, you know? Just like, yeah!
I mean, Kit is adorable. I love Kit so much.
I know, you just want to pet her and all that stuff. And then, you know, the unicorn. Because who doesn't love a freaking unicorn? You just want to be like, look at me. I'm a kid. I've got magic, bitches. Try me with that horn.
Mm-hmm.
The dragon.
Dragon, of course.
Who doesn't want to ride a dragon and be like, I got firepower. I'm that badass. You know, I know some people would say like Prue as a dog, but you know, I could add that, but also Oscar the dog from when Paige was a temp, because that reminded me so much of when I worked at a dog hotel and I got humped all the time.
Oh my gosh. So you got some personal first-hand experience with that. That's pretty cool.
No. Oh my God. I ask anytime I see a pit bull, if it's a male, I'm like, are they neutered? And when they say no, I'm like, crap. Those are the ones that are the horniest, man. Okay? And they use me, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard. And then, okay, so this is like a two-parter.
Okay.
So the owl that turns into a man. I gotta say, you know what? Who doesn't want a sexy man? That's a beautiful animal right there. And it's a cute freaking owl. Woohoo!
Magic hour. It was super adorable. When it turned its head and its little chirp, I'm like, oh, owl.
I know, it's a hoot hoot, man.
Let me pull an arrow out of you, please. I need to save you.
I'll have both. Give me both of them. Let me just be able to change them into whatever I want.
Yeah, Magic Hour. That's a fun episode. Cool. My five. I put my five in order, even though it was hard. I kind of ranked them. I have number 5 is the P3 animal pragmatism, when they turn all of the patrons into animals. Just because there's like animals everywhere, and I believe it's the only time in the show we see an elephant, which, you know, I love elephants. So
oh wow, I didn't even realize that. Well, I can look at the guy.
I
remember the pig most.
Yeah, because there's the 3 that they turn into men. There's the pig, the snake, and the rabbit. That's obvious.
They changed everyone.
Yeah, but they changed everything back. So we had a tiger, we had an elephant, we had a camel, we had monkeys galore. There was like there's dogs, there's chimpanzees. I mean, you name it was in that bar.
The party. I would love to. I wish I was there, and it was all real.
Yeah, so I did like that, and the elephant just had my heart. Then I have Legend of Sleeping Halliwell, when Phoebe goes on her vision quest, the wolf that guides her. I'm like, oh, that wolf is so like noble and like just beautiful. I'm like, oh, I want to. Yeah, I will follow you wherever you go, wolf. So I have that, and then I have the tiger in Witches in Tights, because even though we had a tiger in Animal Pragmatism, we get a really good look at the tiger in Witches in Tights when he brings that drawing to life.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh, I love that tiger. I want to pet it.
You can't. It doesn't matter if you're gonna die. You might as well die petting a cute animal.
Yeah,
you know? It'll make it less painful.
So you get it, the tiger here. You get it. And then I have all the chimpanzees and Astro Monkey, because they were super cute using the powers. When the Prue chimpanzees like grabbing the banana, and then when it slips down and Astro projects, I'm like, oh.
I can only imagine what their command was, because I think Rose McGowan said the command for Oscar the dog was the trainer just kept yelling out, "Pump, pump, pump." Just imagine. Just what that's a hilarious.
Like finger. Can you imagine? I'm kind of like doing this wiggly finger thing with my 2 fingers. It's kind of graphic. I apologize. But because in the Astro Monkey, that has the monkey just like grabbing the banana and it's doing that finger thing. So
I really want to know what the command was for that one.
You can imagine.
Oh my god.
And then I did put Dog Prue as my number 1, because Dog Prue is just so beautiful. That white husky and those eyes, and just the fact that it was Prue, because I'm a huge Prue fan. Seeing her, I don't know. I imagine her as a dog was just super cute to me.
Oh my god, that dog is beautiful. Like oh my god, I love any type of breed of dogs. There is no ugly dog, and if anybody says there is, I will slap you. I will slap you. I will get a dog paw and slap you.
What's funny about that is they let Shannon pick what breed of dog that she would turn into, and Shannon chose that breed specifically.
Wow, I didn't even know that. I wonder what, maybe she's like leader of the pack.
Yeah, I think she must have some kind of affection for those dogs. In my neighborhood, there was somebody who had a dog that looked just like the Prue dog, and I was just like, oh my god, I need to take a picture of that dog. I want to go like, hey, come here. It goes outside, but then it like I couldn't get a good view. I couldn't get a good angle, so I was like, oh, maybe I'll be there when I come back. I never saw it again, and I was tempted to just write the owners of the house, a letter. To say, I really love the show Charmed, and your dog looks like the dog that played Prue. Can I come visit?
Oh my god, this reminds me of something, and I can't believe I never thought of it. There was a dog at the dog hotel that I worked, and I don't know if it was a husky, but it was a big white dog, and I never realized, but it actually kind of, looked like the dog in the show. But the thing is, I was more focused on that I had to change its diaper, which was not a pleasant thing. So, but wow.
Yeah.
I took a picture with that dog.
Yeah. So I never wrote the letter, but I thought about it. And then I decided it's probably a creepy thing to do. So I didn't.
Oh, I've done creepier.
Okay.
I go up and I start catcalling dogs.
Oh.
Work it.
You go, girl. Yeah.
All the owners look at me. I'm like, I swear I'm not crazy.
All right. So now we're in the final segment of the day, the last one. It's tips for future white lighters.
I was out being a force of good in the universe.
And this is the moral lesson or advice we could learn from this book. What is your tip?
Don't give away your other child.
Don't give away your other child. Twins are very special together. Yeah.
Yes, they are powerful. They're like the power of three, really, when you think about it. The bond is like a lot.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, because Brooke and I didn't find out we were identical until we were 18.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a fun time. But when you really think of the bond is really like the power three. It's a lot stronger and it's a lot harder to break, even though you can break it.
Mm-hmm.
But let's see. Also, who doesn't love being a clown? Always dress like a clown when you need to sneak into somewhere, and always bring your own bush.
Yes, always bring your own bush. I love it. And my lesson today is you don't have to like or agree with everyone you meet, but if you live with a general sense of kindness and respect, you are capable of far more than you know. Just human decency. Yes, so that's our episode. Where can people find you on your social medias?
Let's see. I am on Instagram, AJ Powers 1, just the number 1. I should be next week. I'm getting a charm tattoo.
Ooh, what you gonna get?
I don't know.
It's a surprise. Okay.
It is. I think it's gonna be like a half sleeve, but it's not gonna be it's not gonna be like a tripetra. It's gonna be something special and unique.
I like it.
I'm different, and I've got to be different, bitch.
Yep, that's why I didn't get a triquetra. When I was like 12, I'm like, I'm gonna get a triquetra, but then I'm like, everybody gets that, so that's when I got the tri-horn, which is like the P3 smoke flower. This thing.
Yeah, so. I didn't notice that before. I'm so oblivious to things.
Yeah. But yeah, and then mention the Facebook group.
Oh yeah, it is Forever Charmed fan group. We have over 16,000 members. You have to request to join because you've had some issues and some weird stuff. I mentioned bestiality before. There's a reason why it's a closed group, but we do accept people. Just so you know, we look to see if you have like some charmed things on there. We want to make sure you're not like gonna spam all that stuff. And the main part of the group is you're only allowed to talk about Charmed. The reboot is not allowed at all. But yeah, there people sell things. You can it's a lot of fun, really.
Yeah, cool. And then you can go ahead and follow this podcast on Instagram, Words of the Witches. We're also on Facebook, Words of the Witches, a Charmed podcast. You can like us there. And we're now on YouTube. So that's exciting. You can listen to the podcast on YouTube, and that's just searching Words of the Witches. We don't have an official, like, easy to find link right now, so just go search for us. And then you can find me on KGZ87, or follow my other podcast, Hanging with the Halliwells with my friend Sean. Oh, I do so much. And we'll see you in 2 weeks. Have a witchy day.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.